Hey gang, welcome back to another cool manga animation tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be covering eye transition between two panels just like this. I thought of doing this as a small tutorial, but according to poll, you guys wanted a detailed tutorial. So here it is. Hit the subscribe button before continuing to see more of such tutorials in the future. This video is going to be a bit long, so without wasting time, let's jump straight into the video. Create a new composition. Follow the same settings. It's basically the standard settings I use in all of my tutorials. Once you are comfortable with the settings, hit OK. Let me import the panels which I'd need. If you guys want to follow my exact tutorial, I've attached all the footages I'll be using along with the free project file, which is linked in the description. Go ahead and download it. Start by dragging your first panel into the timeline. Hit S on the keyboard to open up scales and scale the panel to fit into your composition. Now you need different layers for masking different parts of this subject. Click the layer and press Ctrl plus Shift plus D to duplicate the layer. I want to animate each of her hair strands separately, which is why I'm having a lot of hair layers. If you guys are confused why we have so many layers for masking, check out my very first tutorial where I've covered all of this in detail. Once you've duplicated the layers and renamed each, let's proceed to the masking phase. Pick Pen tool from above. Click the layer you want to mask, and start masking each layers. Remember to select a different layer to mask a different part. I'm speeding up this part. I'm just renaming some layers and rearranging them. It's time for painting face. As you can see here, we've masked the hair layers separately, which means it should not exist in the head layer, because it'll overlap when you try to animate. So we are painting off the unnecessary elements from each layer. I'm speeding up this part. If you don't understand why we should perform painting, you can check out my first tutorial. This will give you a better clarity. Look at this mask of the huge hair in the back. Even though the shape of the mask is right, the contents within the mask is half hair and half of her body. Since manga panels aren't 3D, you are supposed to paint and fill the region assuming that when animated, the mask is entirely just hair. I'm using Clone Stamp tool instead of Paint tool here. If you're my subscriber and watched all my tutorials, I've explained about Clone Stamp tool's theory part as well. I've covered about this tool in this tutorial. Make sure to check that out before proceeding if you've no idea how Clone Stamp tool works. It's finally time to animate something. Let's start by animating the hair since we can directly use AFP hair rig script file. I've attached this script file along with the free project file. Link is in description. Before watching further, go ahead and download it. Once done, select a hair layer. Set up pins this way. Now click the layer. Hit U on the keyboard to open keyframes. What you have to do here is deselect the pins which you don't want to move. Basically the base bone, which doesn't move. Then click the layer. Hover over to File. Hover over to Scripts. Click Run Script File. Select the script file. Now a pop-up box like this will open. Make sure Puppet Pins is selected. Many people have claimed in my previous tutorials that sometimes when they hit run, absolutely nothing happens. That's because of the layer's name. If your layer's name is too long, the script won't be applied. So if you are facing such issues, just check this box as well and it'll automatically rename the layer for you. I have a short name for the layer, so I am just proceeding to hit run. And boom, an adjustment layer is created and the particular hair will start moving. Repeat this same process for all the hair layers. I'm speeding up this part. I'll be animating the mouth layer as well. It's optional, just a simple animation most wouldn't even notice. Now that our character's animation is ready, select all the layers including the layer created by our hair script, and pre-compose it. It's time for scene building. Import any scene you like, and scale it to fit into the composition. I'm planning to animate the ocean in a parallax animation, so I'd have to mask the ocean separately along with other parts of the scene. So I'm duplicating the layers. If you don't want to do scene building, you can directly jump to the 3D camera or to the eye transition part. I'll mask out the sand, ocean, the bridge, and the hills in the back in different layers. I've imported a sky image instead of the default sky in the picture. This one's more nice, and it's easier to animate the clouds. So after adding the clouds, the hills look like it's not blended in properly. Click the hill layer, open up the settings, select the mask, and set the mask feather in a range from 10 to 20. Now the hills look blended and the edges are soft. Time to paint now. The hill's got the coconut tree branches in it. I'm painting it off. Now there are some elements we don't need in the ocean layer, such as the boat and this dude swimming here. Use clone stamp tool to remove. And since we'll be animating the ocean layer as a whole, the bridge should not exist. Moreover, we have already masked bridge in a separate layer. Now after removing the bridge, the shadow present beneath the bridge is gone. Just create a new solid layer and change its color to black. Drag it right under the bridge layer and above the ocean layer, and mask it in such a way. Hit T on the keyboard to open opacity and reduce the opacity. Again, the edges look sharp, so open its mask settings and set a feather. I'm adjusting the shadow according to our initial image. Now set the position of the sky to the right, because we are going to animate it from left to right. I didn't mask the coconut tree leaf in the image because masking it would be a pain. Instead, I got a coconut leaf PNG from Google. Import it, and scale it to fit into your scene. Now it's time to animate the water. I've did nothing new, just hidden all the other layers except the ocean. And I've pre-composed the ocean layer. Now create a new solid layer in any color. Place it right above the ocean layer. Now go to Effects and add Fractal Noise. Open the Transform settings. Adjust the scale width and height similar to how the ocean looks, according to the perspective view of the ocean. Now create a keyframe in Offset Turbulence. Move few seconds apart on the timeline, and simply increase its value. You can either make it go from top to bottom or bottom to top. Similarly, create a keyframe in Evolution and do the same. Once the fractal is ready, pre-compose the layer. Now select Ocean Layer. Hover over to Effects bar and search for Displacement Map and add it. Change the source layer to Fractal Noise and hide the Fractal Noise layer. And here you go, the water is animated. If you want to make the water flow more intense, you can always tweak the settings in the Fractal Noise and it automatically gets updated to the ocean layer. Now unhide all the layers. The coconut tree leaves can also be animated very easily. Just use the same AFP hair script. Again, I've already made a video dedicated specially for composition. If you can follow the effects I'm adding, proceed as usual. Or if you want to learn composition and how each of the settings work, then watch my composition tutorial as well. First off, hover over to Effects bar and add Drop Shadow, CC Composite, Set Matte, and Tint. Remember that CC Composite should be at the last. Make sure to follow this exact same order. Now turn off RGB only and turn on Shadow only. Now increase the distance according to your preference. And if you want to prevent these hard edges, increase softness value. You can change the opacity too if you like. Now map the white color to something from the scene, maybe a dark green, and reduce the amount to tint value. Now right-click the girl layer, go to Layer Styles, and add Inner Shadow. Now open this Inner Shadow settings. Change the blend mode to screen. Change color to white or the glow color you want. Similarly, play around with this settings until you like the glow. Now let's add Looks plugin for the final composition. Create an adjustment layer and add Looks plugin and come into the workplace. I've already covered all the Looks plugin effects in the composition tutorial, so I'll speed up the composition part here. The composition part is done. It's now time for a 3D zoom in. This is not the eye transition part. I'm just going to give it a simple 3D motion. Pre-compose each layer. Don't forget to combine the ocean and the fractal into a single layer. I forgot to animate the sky, so I'm creating a position animation which moves the sky from left to right. You can pre-compose sky and other layers too, but it's optional. Pre-composing layers is a good animation standard. It makes it more organized. Select all layers except the master layer and the composition layer, and turn them all to 3D. Now create a new camera. You can leave it with the default settings. Create a null layer. The coconut tree looks like it's coming into the scene from nowhere. So open up the position and change the Z-axis value, which makes it come closer to the camera. Now link the camera to the null layer. Then open position settings in null layer. Create a keyframe. Move few seconds apart on the timeline and add a simple zoom into her face. This is our results so far. Looks beautiful. Once this simple animation is done, pre-compose all the scenes excluding the composition. You can name it Scene 1. Now it's time to make the Scene 2. We are going to do the same process we did for Scene 1. Masking the character and animating the hair using AFP hair rig. I'm speeding up both this part else this video will get longer and bore you guys. Some of you have asked for a full, uncut time-lapse. No cuts, no speed-ups, no voiceover. So for the first time, I've uploaded the complete raw time-lapse for free on my Discord server. You'll find the link in the description. If enough people enjoy this, I'll start posting future time-lapses as members-only videos right here on the channel. Don't worry, the membership is just 99 cents per month, the lowest tier possible, just to support the channel and help me keep making these. Let's jump back into the tutorial. I'm speeding up the entire process of masking, painting, and animating the hair layers. Alright, here we go. I've animated the boy now, and pre-composed all the hair layers into one named head. Let's add a small rotation to its head to make it more romantic. We don't have to build the whole scene again. You can build a whole different scene if you want. But for the sake of the tutorial, I'm copying the same background we used for the previous scene. Just to make it slightly different, let's remove the bridge layer and adjust scales a bit. I'm changing the position of the hills as well. Remove the sky layer's position animation, because in the previous scene we made it go from left to right. Here we can make it go from right to left. Now make the boy layer 3D. Other layers are already 3D since we copied it from the previous scene. I'll position the boy layer a bit forward. Once done, again create a camera, then create a null layer. Link the camera layer to the null layer. And let's do a zoom out this time. Set a keyframe and zoom into the boy's face. Now move few seconds apart on the timeline and zoom out. Select all the keyframes and hit F9 on the keyboard to ease them. Right-click the position and click Separate Dimensions. Now you can access the value graph and make something similar to this. Now we have the looks composition layer for scene 1. Just use the same adjustment layer for scene 2. The boy layer requires the drop shadow and tint. Similarly, go back to the girl layer. Copy all the settings and go to the boy layer and paste it right here. And don't forget to change the source layer here to the boy. And boom, the composition is now done. Now just select all the layers of scene 2 and pre-compose it into a single layer. And also having a common adjustment layer for both the scenes might cause trouble during transitions like overlap and double compositions. So I'll split the adjustment layer into 2 and move them into each other's composition. Finally, the time has come to transition both these scenes. Before that, make sure scene 1 is placed above scene 2. So the first thing we're going to do is mask out the layer directly on the pre-composed scene 1. And of course, now the whole layer gets disappeared. Open the mask settings and change the type to subtract. And since this scene has a zoom in motion, the mask has to be updated, right? Or the mask would stay static right there. So create a keyframe in mask path. Make sure you are in the timeline where the transition has to take place. I want the transition to happen within a second. So I moved 1 second apart on the timeline. Now if you notice, the mask path is not proper. It deviates from the eye. Just adjust the mask path here. Make sure you have pen tool enabled. Also remember a tip. If you have selected the mask setting, you can directly move the whole mask to any position. If you want to adjust the individual points, select the layer instead of the mask. Alright, now we want the mask to appear only during the transition part and not in the complete scene. So again, move to the first keyframe. Create a keyframe in mask expansion. And now move to 1 second apart. And change its value to -15. Now let's do the final step. Create a new camera. And create a new null layer. Make all the layers 3D. Now open up position settings in the null layer. Create a keyframe in the start of your transition part, like in the timeline where we created the eye mask. Then move to where the transition has to end, which is 1 second in my case. I'll hide the second scene for now, so I'll not get confused. Now in this keyframe, move the position straight into her eyes, until only a black screen appears in the composition. Now unhide the scene 2. Now it looks like the scene 2 got scaled up so big. It's pretty simple to fix this. Hold Shift key on the keyboard and link the scene 2 layer to the null layer. Now the scene 2 be scaled properly to fit the null layer position. Now you can unlink the layer again. And finally ease the keyframes and set a graph similar to this, or to sync your music. And boom, we finally got the desired animation. If you guys loved it till the end, go ahead and smash the like button. And if you want to see more of such tutorials in the future, please do subscribe. Subscribers motivate me to be more consistent. And as you guys requested, this tutorial's whole uncut time-lapse will be posted for free on my Discord server. Link is in description. Thank you so much for your support till now. Until next time, this is Roni, signing off.